Okay, thanks for joining me for part one of three on an introduction to inventory optimization. So the first thing that I'll give you is a bit of a background on myself. I started my career off working for PC World in retail, selling into business. Moved into OGL and ERP systems, working with the community. And then around about 2 years ago, I moved to Slimstock to specialise in inventory optimization, and I've recently set up a relationship with UBT again. So I'll introduce you to my eldest daughter, Summer, because I guess that's kind of where this story starts. Summer's recently started school, and as part of that, she's really got into drawing and writing and doing those kind of things that they do. And as part of her starting school, I promised Summer that we would put a desk and chair in her bedroom so she could come home and do her work at home. So we arranged on the weekend that I would do this. Me being me, I left it till right at the last minute to go out and try and buy a pink chair for her bedroom. So I managed to find one. Pretty pleased with myself. I found one on Amazon, $49.99 with free delivery, but it was out of stock. So I was forced to kind of look around and see what else I could find, and luckily Argos came to the rescue, found the same chair, a little bit more expensive, but realistically, how much extra would I pay to get the products to be able to deliver that promise of putting her desk and chair in on the weekend? Well, realistically, would I have paid 20%? Yes. Would I have paid 30%? Probably. Maybe even 50%, and I guess it depends how much that product is needed to how much more you're willing to pay. On this occasion, Argos had the product £62.98, and I was willing to pay 26% more than it would be from Amazon to ensure that I was able to deliver on my promise. So not only did Amazon not get my business because they didn't have the product in stock, but I was pretty amazed with Argos's service. You know, they had the product, and I actually got it delivered about 3 hours after I ordered it, so I had it in plenty of time for the weekend. Realistically, nobody's prepared to wait. I think that's something that's happened now with how easily we can access things through the internet. Amazon's Prime service, and other companies really stepping up and making sure they've got product availability. And I guess I'll prove that. In the USA, more households have Amazon Prime than voted in the election. I guess that's a scary thing to think, but it's true. I guess more people care about getting a product now than what else is happening in the wider space of things. Cranfield University did some work on how do customers respond when there are availability issues and the company that you've gone to doesn't have stock. And when you've got an incredibly strong brand like Apple with a range of products, 12% of people will buy a different product from the same shop. 40% of people will buy that same product, but they'll buy it from somewhere else. They'll look around, as I did. 24% of people will wait for you to get the product in, and I think that's kind of a common misconception that everyone will wait if you haven't got something in stock. Realistically, it's only a quarter of people that will wait. And then 24% of people just didn't buy that product at all. So if you look at the 40% that bought the same product at a different shop and the 24% that didn't buy the product at all, 64% of people won't buy, or stockouts result in no sale. So when it comes to what is availability actually worth to your customers, 88% of customers will pay more for a faster delivery, as I did. Now, every 1% of availability to your business, so when we talk about, okay, what's the service level that we want to achieve, what's our availability target going forward, we always talk about kind of 97, 98, 99% that we want to achieve. Whereas when we step back and look at, well, what are we achieving at the moment? Maybe it's 92, 93%. If we can get that up by an extra couple of percent, and that can add between 0.5 and 1 or 2% in additional revenue, we could be talking big numbers in how we can improve the business. So availability really is king. So to combat that, why don't we just buy 3 months worth of stock across the board? Well, to start with, we might have MOQs that are more than 3 months. Maybe they're less than 3 months, and to order double my MOQ would massively overstock me. Maybe I've got long lead times. 3 months isn't enough stock. Maybe my lead times are from the Far East, and I've got to account for 12 weeks manufacturing time plus some shipping time. Then I have to factor in Chinese New Year and how many people actually come back after that. So there are areas to look at there too. We've got supplier reliability. So as much as our supplier says that we've got a lead time of 4 weeks, is it always 5 weeks? Is it always 3 weeks? And we end up paying an invoice earlier than expected? Maybe it's the review time. So the review time we often don't factor in. So maybe it's that the lead time is 4 weeks, but actually we only order this product once a month. So it could be up to 8 weeks that we need to cover for. We've then got seasonality to take into account. So we may be looking at, well, why hold 3 months worth of high-vis winter coats when we're in June? It wouldn't make sense to. We've then got promotions that we might have on. So a promotion might wipe out 3 months worth of stock really easily, really quickly, and therefore we wouldn't have enough. And then we've got to look at the volatility of the demand. So you'll often find that companies will buy in spikes and then not buy anything for a while. So we'll look at that shortly to see how that could affect things. Demand patterns on different types of products can play a big part. So in Slim4 as a piece of software, we look at frequent and regular demand. We also look at irregular, slow, as different types of demand. So we can see, well, this is a product that we sell every single month. Maybe this is a product that we sell every 3 months, or is more irregular than our typical demand. So we can't judge or work out a forecast with one rule for all. It simply won't work. But at the end of the day, holding too much stock will cost you money. So whether we're holding far too much of the wrong type of product, we'll look at ABC analysis in the second webinar, but it could well be that actually we don't want to hold loads of or 3 months of this product because we only sell 1 or 2 of them a year, and we've only got one customer, so we have to start looking at how cost effective is it to hold that product. We've then got, well, if we sit on 3 months worth of stock of maybe even a high performing item, to hold 3 months might mean that we're holding a huge amount of money's worth of stock that we could potentially spend on other faster moving items or to introduce new product. So how can you find the balance between service level that you want to achieve and the cost of goods that we're going to hold? I guess the first question we need to ask is, how much do I order and when? If I look at this scenario, for example, we've got 100 units per week of demand. The minimum order quantity on this product is 20 units, and I've got a 1 week lead time from the supplier. If I've got 600 units on hand, how many or when do I order this product? So I might look at that and say, well, based on having 600 units already, 1 week lead time from the supplier and 100 units per week, if I was going to play safe, maybe I'd order some in about 4 weeks' time. Maybe I'd be right. And in this scenario, I probably would be, because I can see that my sales are fairly well spread. They do look like they're around about 100 per month or per week. But this item also has a demand of 100 a week. And I can see that to start with, it looks like about 40, but by the time I get to week 12, I'm selling 250. So that 100 a week is soon going to disappear. Maybe it's more of an irregular demand and it's an item where I see big spikes 3 or 4 times a year that are going to completely wipe out how much stock I've got. Maybe it's a seasonal item or an item with a fairly quick product life cycle that comes up and goes straight back down again. Or maybe it's those items that we all love where we just have one massive spike and then no sales for the rest of the year, which can skew our demand. And in most ERP systems, we'll see that 600 spike will mean that all of a sudden the system wants us to hold 50 per month. So based on different types of products, and we can see different demand classes here, that mean that products can all perform differently. So again, it just reinforces that we can't use a one-size-fits-all forecasting method or stock holding method to work out what we need for when. So from this first session, hopefully you'll realize that trying to look at every single item that you've got, every single item that you range every single week or day is impossible. Maybe you've got a product range of 20 or 30 items and this is achievable. Maybe you've got a team of 15 or 20 people and again it's achievable. But at the moment, I doubt that's the case. So we need to try and work smarter. Slimstock can help you with all these things. If you want to know more, please get in touch and we'll tell you a little bit more about what we do. That's me. If you want to contact me, please feel free to. I'll come back to this in just a second, but going forward, on the 12th of June, we have our second webinar, which is around maximizing the value of your assortment. So we'll talk a little bit more about stocking, non-stocking decisions, and how you can use an ABC classification. And on the 3rd of July, we've got our third and final webinar, which is how can you optimize your approach to purchasing. We're looking at things like filling containers, meeting minimum order quantities, and negotiating with your suppliers. Like I say, if you want to come back to me, please feel free on the details below.